Oh, come on. Don't make a bunch of ruckus. Come this way. Come this way. Come this way. What's up, witches? Okay, down there's good. That's good. Yeah. Miss Eartha Kitty's in the building. She was away for the month with her father. We are co-parenting Miss Eartha Kitty. We're taking turns each month. So she's with me this month. She just got dropped off. What's up, witches? Guys want to say hi? Can we say hi, Eartha Kitty? Hi. Hi. Say hi to the witches. Yeah. Welcome back. Claiming your rightful place on the bed. What's going on, y'all? What's up? How we doing? Let's see. Who's here? Say hi. Hey, the what for? What's up? What do you mean, how am I live? Oh. I was like, I don't know how. I don't understand this technology. I just do the things they say I can do. I'm good. How are y'all? It is Sunday night. It is the end of this Witches Week, which I'm so happy about. Super productive week, though. Like, I'm really proud of myself. I was thinking about that in the elevator when I was like coming home this evening. I've been getting into the habit of telling myself that I'm proud of myself at the end of the day and at the end of the week. Hey, Key, what's up? You know, because I have this to-do list that is seemingly just impossible to like make a significant dent in. There's just not enough hours in the day when you have what has come to be multiple businesses. Like it didn't start off that way, but it's become pretty clear that like that's how it is. And legally, I'm actually like starting to make it that way. Hey, Kim. Oh my gosh. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for starting your day with me. Hey. So I'm starting to identify the fact that like within all of the things that I do, that I actually have multiple businesses. So as you can imagine, one person running multiple businesses, it's like the to-do lists are never ending. Every week, a few more things, sometimes several more things get added on, and I'm doing my best to stay on top of them and cross them off as I go. But you kind of, you kind of never get to the end of it, which then makes it really easy to feel like I did for a lot of last year, to feel really like overwhelmed and kind of defeated, because you get to a point where you're so exhausted that you have to rest and you have to stop, but you don't feel like you've done anything, and you don't feel like you deserve rest and like you can stop. And so I've gotten into the habit of, at the end of the day, just being like a review of all the things that I got done. And just like being proud of myself and being like, I'm proud of myself. I did this, I did that, I did that. Like today, I really deep cleaned the shop, which I've been putting off for a little while. Yeah, thank you. You can relate. I am the everything in the business at the moment, which means I'm also the cleaning lady at HQ. So yeah, things that you got, chill out. Kitty has no teeth, so when she licks herself, it's like ridiculous. It's just like a whole lot of tongue and just like, I don't mean to embarrass you, but like you don't have to go hard like that. You're not cleaning anything. Just as filthy as you always are. But yeah, I'm the cleaning lady. So today I did our laundry. So I clean all the rugs that we have in the bathroom, all the towels for drying your hands, all of the rags we use for cleaning up, the yoni gowns, the sheets for the Reiki tables, all of that stuff. Yeah, I always say I'm a one witch team. And Yeah, so I did the laundry and then I not only swept, but I mopped the floors. And I sweep every Sunday night before I close up for our weekend, which is Monday and Tuesday. We close on Mondays and Tuesdays. So I always take out all the trash, take out all the recycling, sweep the floors, do some dusting, just, completely clean things down as well as I can to be shut down so that when Alexis and I come in on Wednesday, it's fresh. We put all the trash bags, put everything back. And I've been wanting to mop for the last couple of weeks because we've had some snow and some rain, which means people have been trekking through with like boots on and wet shoes. And the floors don't look dirty, but like to me, like I know it is. So I was like trying to get around to mopping. And I finally did that today. So, and then I packed up everybody who has pending orders. So all my Better Witches Magic Intensive kits, those of them who've ordered so far, couple of book bundle orders were pending and a couple pickup orders. And I got all of those prepped and ready for Alexis to package and put into the boxes and shipping labels and stuff on Wednesday. So I got all that ready for her. And then I made quite a bit of content for the day. I spent a lot of the day kind of scrolling online a little bit, which happens to me sometimes on Sundays because I'm just so like tired from the week that it can be a little bit hard to get stuff done. Um, but you guys, I've been drinking those Magic Mind productivity shots. Very helpful. Very, very helpful because I definitely think that they are a big reason why I was able to power through and get the laundry and get the floors mopped and do all of that stuff because energetically I was not in the mood. I've been up really late all week long ever since the webinar. I've been having coaching sessions. I take those like late in the evening. And so I've just been up and getting like 2, 3 hours of sleep all week. So when that happens by Sunday, I'm just like, I just kind of sit at the register and I just, you know, talk to customers and like don't push myself to do anything and do a lot of scrolling, unfortunately. But not today. Today I got a lot done and my scrolling, there actually wasn't a lot of scrolling. It was a lot of me genuinely being on social media for a purpose. Like usually I tell myself that, like, oh no, I'm researching or like, oh, I'm, engaging, I'm commenting on stuff, whatever. But today I legitimately did that. I did quite a few like stories and posts for the shop that I had not originally intended to do. And I made a short here on YouTube that was just me kind of like fucking around with the YouTube features because I wanted to see like what the green screen was like on YouTube. There are these, the algorithm has been showing me these like young British guys with podcasts lately or whatever. So I don't know if you guys watch like Chunks in Philly or if you watch James and Fahad on Shits and Gigs. These like random English podcasts. And really funny guys. And there was just like a clip with Philly and one of their like co-hosts named Darkness, whose real name he didn't know. And I thought it was funny. And I often talk about how I don't understand what the fuck men do when they're together, because it doesn't seem like they actually ever get to know each other at all. Like only men will literally see each other for what? I know. I do. I am doing so much. I know I do have to chill out a little bit. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I was really just trying to like test out the YouTube features. So I posted this clip of them, but with myself over them of a green screen. And I was like, oh, you can voice these over? Because I didn't think you could do that. So like the audio's not good. You can kind of barely hear what I'm saying or whatever. I logged on to YouTube a second ago to set this live up, and I had like confetti things flying on my dashboard. And I was like, what the hell is this? Number one watched shorts of all the shorts I've ever made in the period of time since I posted it. And I was like, what? That was just kind of like a test. But it has like 2,000 views since like this afternoon. I was like, oh, okay. But they always say that. It's always the thing that you think nobody is going to watch or that you like didn't even think about that's like somehow everybody sees. But I think it's only because I remixed a popular show. I doubt it is like my followers. But that was pretty funny. But anyway, what are you guys up to? I'm surprised that any of you are in the room right now, because all I have been seeing across my feed has been Grammy drama. I guess the Grammys are on tonight. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to a lot of pop culture stuff anymore. And definitely used to watch the Grammys like every year, but I haven't in a while. Yeah, it's so random. I was having this conversation with I don't know if you guys know, on Instagram he's J Drew Silver. But he makes these really amazing. I'm a night owl too. I'm a night owl. I'll be up all hours of the night doing anything and everything until I see the light. Y'all remember when I posted that on my Instagram? That was my anthem. Love that song. Um, there's this guy named J Drew Silver who makes like wooden hand carved, I guess they're hand carved or whatever, like wooden shelves and stuff for like your crystal displays and things. And he's been posting a lot about that recently, about like, don't fall sucker to those pages that are like, use this trending audio and blow up. Here's 5 tips for like going viral, blah, 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 blah. Like those pages, if you ever stop and look at their pages, the post will come across your feed, right? And it'll be like 20,000 likes, 100,000 likes, 200,000 likes. But if you go and check those people's pages, sometimes they'll have, let's just say, very small followings compared to what they're saying you will get if you do the thing they say to do. Does that make sense? Like, have you seen those posts where they'll be like, um, go like, use this odd, like, do this, make your reel like this, and then like read the caption, and like in the caption it'll be da, 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 and it'll be like, use this template, and your post will like, your page will blow up or something. Um, and what I've learned about this, and Jeju was pointing this out, is that those pages and the people who run them, who are claiming to be making so much money, are not making money and blowing up because because their tips are successful. They're blowing up. Either that post is blowing up or their pages are blowing up because they're pulling on your desperation to find something that's going to do it for you. All of these pages claim to have figured something out. and they know that you're so desperate to try to figure out what's going to make my post get seen by everybody, what's going to make my thing go viral, what's going to make my blah, 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 that they can take advantage of your desperation and get you, to pay $7 for their PDF of 100 caption hooks or whatever it is that they're selling. And the reality is, they haven't figured shit out. You know why they haven't figured shit out? Because the shit is not figure outable. I think I really cracked some shit forever. Yes. I think I have really figured some shit out, especially about Instagram. Not necessarily like YouTube, because YouTube shows you what you're looking for a lot more. Instagram is running the most genius fucking scam out there ever by convincing all of us that there is something to figure out to get your shit seen by more people, or to get your page more views, or to get your product in front of more people that will buy. They are banking on our desperation to try to figure it out. And so we're out here driving ourselves crazy, buying editing software, buying lists of captions, paying people to try to teach us how to hack the Instagram game, all of this nonsense. And at the end of the day, Instagram is just sitting back, raking in the billions from ad money, while we invest all of this time and energy trying to figure out how to crack something that cannot be cracked. There is no trick to Instagram. There's no hook. There's no specific type of caption. There's no certain length of reel. There's no perfect trending audio. Use this audio before it gets to this many views. Put all of that shit out of your mind. It's a fucking scam. It is a complete scam. None of it is legit. The algorithm is actually random as hell. Rando. And they know that. But they want us to believe that there's something, that if your page isn't doing well, if your post didn't get shown to a bunch of people, it's because there's something you didn't do right. Your caption was too long, or you didn't use certain hashtags, or none of it is true. It's all a bunch of bullshit. It is all a bunch of complete BS. If you want to do well on social media, don't care about doing well on social media. Care about whatever it is you make, whatever service it is that you provide, and the people who need it. And if you care about your people and you focus on making quality product, or giving a quality service, or taking quality pictures, whatever it is that you do on the internet, even if it's just like being quality at being yourself. Like maybe your page isn't even to like promote or sell anything. You're just trying to share yourself with the world. Just focus on being authentic and true and making things that you like. That is what you want to do. Yes, exactly. They make you feel like you are doing something wrong. And that's why your Instagram's not blowing up. That's why your posts are not blowing up. No, no. It's a complete gimmick. The reason why your posts are not blowing up is because you're not paying Instagram a ton of money for ads. That's it. That is it. That's all. I'm glad it's helping you, because I have been like, it's so hard as a small business owner, because you're like, this is how I get people to know what I do. I got to figure this out. And you waste all this time trying to figure out social media instead of trying to make your product better, or your service better, or give more value for what it is that you are creating. Don't fall for the hype. Keep your focus on making yourself and what you are giving to the world better and better and better. And then tell people about it on social media, and then go about your business. Don't stress it. Don't worry about it. How long is my reel? Don't. You don't have to make a gorgeous video. You don't have to make it the right length of time. You don't have to become a freaking cinematographer, video editor. It's a waste of your time. Sit in front of your camera, turn it on, tell people I make this. This is why it's the best. I work my ass off to do it. And guess what? I work so hard at it. I don't have time to be making no more reels. Goodbye. My website is this, you know, because it's totally random. It's totally random. Everything about that post that I made violates the rules of like what is supposed to be like postable. And it's my highest ranked short in like 2 hours. It's a bunch of nonsense, you know? And yeah, I mean, there's some like basics, like maybe don't have it be so dark in your room that nobody can see you, or like, you know, don't be outside in the middle of a parade trying to talk and nobody can hear you. You know what I mean? Some basics, but like, do not stress yourself out about trying to make great content, because they're not promoting great content. They're promoting the content of the brands and businesses that can afford to buy ads. And everybody else is on rando. So just talk to your people. Talk to the people who are following you. That it might be 10 people. Talk to them and just make sure that those 10 people understand how much you care about them, how much everything you're doing is for them, how whatever you offer this world is addressing a problem that they have, and that you have found a solution for them. And just talk about that and why it's the greatest, and keep on moving with your day. You know, from day one, our like my biggest supporters have been you guys that have come back and back and back to the shop, placed orders, bought readings, all of these things. And for a long time, I was like, oh my God, I am failing, because the same 10 people, every time I check my inbox and I just got an order in the shop and I'm like, a new customer, and I look down, oh no, it's Betty. Oh, it's this person. It's Key. Oh, it's Erica again. Oh, it's. At first, I used to really like be upset about that, because I was like, oh my God, like I'm not getting any new customers. All of this work I'm doing, social media, this website, all the stuff I'm doing online, and nobody new is seeing me. I'm not growing. This is terrible. And then I realized, wait a minute, how much of a blessing is it that whatever I did for those people that first bought from me in 2019, then now it's 2024 and they're still coming back to me to buy from me, when there's 50, 11 other witches out there that maybe make a similar something or offer a similar something. I used to tell myself, like, I can't sustain a business off of like the same few people. And yet here I am. So yeah, I've had a real mindset shift about this whole social media thing. And I realize that I'm stressing myself out to try to figure out something that's not figure outable. And that's the lie they tell us. There's something to crack. There's nothing to crack. Post what you like until you have enough money to buy ads. And then buy ads if you want. You know? So yeah. How did I start talking about that? I don't even know. I think I was talking about the Grammys. But anyway, I hear there's drama going on at the Grammys. Killer Mike got arrested. Some bullshit. Always trying to keep a black man down. Free Killer Mike, because he's dope. I saw Jay-Z was popping shit because they didn't give Beyonce Album of the Year. Okay. I heard Annie Lennox was calling for a ceasefire. Good on her. Because did y'all see that Michael Chi joke on SNL making fun of the genocide, basically talking about Gaza's calling for a ceasefire in Chicago? That's some coon ass shit. Hashtag free Palestine all day. I was like, ew, that was disgusting. Who jokes about genocide? Come on. Um, yeah, so anyway, I was surprised that I would see any of you guys because my timeline was filled with Grammy stuff. So I was like, is everybody watching? I guess it's over now, though, probably, right? Um, but one of the reasons I came on was because I was having a little bit of a moment of reflection earlier as I was getting out of the shower and like just being super kind of like a combination of gratitude and pride because um, tomorrow I'm going to have a phone call with a witch that I know on Instagram. We've never met in person, but we've become friends on Instagram. She lives in London, and I think she's so dope and she's so cool. Tasha's Tarot on Instagram. Um, she's, I think she's Trinidadian, Indian, I think. But she lives in London or in the UK somewhere. And she's super cool. I just think she's so cool. Like, yeah, she's just got like a really cool energy about her. Also, she's really pretty, but don't tell her I said that because I have queer trauma and I feel I have not had good experiences with letting straight girls know that I think they're attractive. That's been backfiring on me since I was 12. So I usually try to just keep that to myself, but she is very pretty to me. And she's just really cool. So I'm supposed to have a phone call with her tomorrow because we were like in the DMs being like, oh my God, haven't talked to you in a while. You know, how you doing? Catching up. We have some similarities. She's married. Is she engaged or married? She's either engaged or married, but like her and her partner have some similarities to what like my soon to be ex husband and I were having, blah, blah, blah. So we've just bonded over something. She's a Leo too. And we talked on the phone one time, like last year, like a while ago, and we haven't since. And we're like, oh, you know what? Like this is too much to try to recap in the DMs. Like we should get together. Yes, it's a thing. Yes. Okay, I will explain it. Okay, but I'll explain it first before I go on. What is queer trauma? And Key says, wait, that's a thing. Yes. Okay. Well, I mean, I think it's a thing. I might have made it up, but I think it's a thing. I know I'm not the only one who's gone through it because this has been a conversation that has come up in the shop with the other shop witches because it turns out that several of them have also had similar experiences. But basically, coming out, especially when you do it young, no, I guess anytime, because we're just not there as a society and stuff. But coming out is not always a joyous occasion, and you're not always greeted with, you know, love and acceptance. And so a lot of us carry a lot of trauma around telling people that we're queer. And I think this happens a lot more for the queers. Because I'm bisexual and so are some of the shop witches or some type of like not straight, basically. And um, the experiences that we have not always been great, you know. So um, when you're bisexual, at least, it's like you kind of have a choice, you know. You can partner with someone and come across as like hetero and be able to kind of have sort of like people treat you like in a normal way. Um, yeah, same. I'm very okay. I'll tell you guys my coming out story. Real quick. All right. So when I was like 11, 12, I started to realize that I liked girls. And I grew up in a Christian church, Black AME church. And one thing I knew from like day one was that was not okay. But it was so not talked about that I actually did not know that there was such a thing as bisexual. I knew there was gay, and I knew that the girl version was a lesbian. I did not know about any other flavor variations. And what I did know about gays and lesbians was that was a sin. And my mom is not a hateful person. So they would always talk about gay people as like, oh, he's like that, he's a little sweet. He's like, they would have these little code words or like, oh, so and so has a friend, a special friend, and you're like, as a kid, and you're like, what? Okay. Um, but I knew that my mom's position on it was like, well, maybe it's not a choice. Maybe people are born with certain issues, but those are issues like a disorder, and Jesus can save you and you can, heal from that. And if you don't, there will be consequences in the afterlife or whatever that's a sin. Um, so she was like sort of compassionate about people who were gay. She wasn't like, oh, aggressive about it or anything like that. But she still made it very clear that that does not go with the word of God. So when I started to realize I was attracted to girls, I was very confused and very scared about it. And shout out to Zenobia, wherever you are in the world, girl. There was this super cool, gorgeous girl in my church named Zenobia. I was like 12. She was like 15, 16. She was older. But none of the older kids at church hung out with her because she was weird. She was alternative. She didn't listen to hip hop. She listened to rock and but she was freaking gorgeous, like model beautiful. So not only was she different, but of course all the girls in church were going to hate on her because she was so gorgeous. So she was a loner and nobody wanted to hang out with her, but I did. So she would hang out with me, even though I was way younger than her. And we were like buddies in church. We would like sit next to each other and write notes and stuff. And so I went to her. She was the only person that I thought I could talk to about this. I was right about that. I went to her and I was like, I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to hell because I'm a lesbian. This is also around the time that I was learning about Wicca and like sneaking in, finding witchy books and stuff too. So I had a lot of shit going on at the same time. And I was like, I am going to hell 100%. Like, this is not looking good for me at all. But so I went to her about that. And she was like, well, I was like, I'm a lesbian and I'm going to hell and this is terrible news. Like, what am I supposed to do? And she was like, well, but don't you like so and so, like some little boy in the choir? And she was like, don't you like so and so? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, so you like boys? And I was like, yeah, I like boys. And she's like, but you also like girls? I was like, yeah, I think I also like girls. And she's like, well, you're not a lesbian, you're bisexual. And I was like, come again? Say what now? She was like, you're bisexual. And I was like, what is this language that you're speaking? What is this magic that you are referring to? I don't understand. So obviously she broke it down to me and I was like, oh, I literally did not know that such a thing existed because I lived in such a conservative, limited world. Like my mom wouldn't let us watch sex scenes on TV. at this point still. So she definitely was not going to let anything gay be on TV. So I had no idea. So that was a big moment for me. And I had a best friend in middle school named Laura. No, named Natalie. And Laura was our other friend, Natalie. And I had quite the crush on Natalie. Quite the crush on Natalie, as did half of the rest of the school, because she was definitely a very cute girl. And she was very blessed, let's say, for someone 12 years old. So, um, oh my God, this story, can I just say, because like one of my whole points was to talk about having witchy friends. I am so grateful that I have my witchy friends, because it is only through talking about this with them in the last year that I am even able to talk about this and not get emotional. Because I am 38, and up until last year, I rarely ever told this story. And if I did, I would immediately start crying. And only because of talking about our similar stories am I now able to talk about this without getting emotional. So having witchy friends, having people that you can relate to is just so important. But so I decided, my bright idea was that I was going to tell Natalie this now that I had figured something amazing out. I was going to tell her about my feelings. So I wrote her a letter, like a long letter. Like I think it was like a 2-page minimum letter. So embarrassing. And I don't remember to this day what was in this letter or even what the pages looked like, because I think I've blocked it out of my mind because it was so painful what ended up happening. Me and this girl were like this. We were besties. We were at lunch together every day. We sat next together in every class, like that kind of thing. Besties, held hands walking down the street to the pizza place after school, like besties, right? So I write her this long letter. I know, I know, I know. So embarrassing, like cringe. I write her this long ass letter about how I feel about her and how beautiful she is, and like how I've learned that I'm bisexual. And I put it in an envelope, and I painted the envelope the colors of the pride flag. Oh my God. With watercolor paints that I had at my house that I think I stole from the school. I painted like stripe, rainbow, and decorated the envelope and just made it the gayest fucking thing ever. And gave it to her in school the next day. I put in her locker. And she got it. And I know watercolor. Somehow the fact that it was watercolor makes it so much worse. Just the softest of the art medium. Just so vulnerable. So I give it to her, and I knew that she got it. I didn't actually see her read it, but I knew that she got it and had read it because she immediately stopped talking to me, wouldn't sit next to me, wouldn't even make eye contact with me, and that was the end of our friendship. Forever and ever and ever. Yep. And she was my only friend at the time, so I was just on my own. Took a little while, but then I ended up pairing up with some other chicks, and those girls are now my besties still to this day, 25-year-long friendship. So all in divine order, all was meant to be. But yep, broke my little gay heart. Very traumatizing. Very traumatizing. Interestingly, we went to a pretty tight-knit school, and so we've like the whole crew in my grade, we've come together in the years since. There's been reunions, and many of us, like I said, two of the girls are still my besties. I'm still really good friends with a couple of the others, and like we're all still kind of cool with each other, which is beautiful. So I have seen her on many, many occasions since that day, and I want to say probably like 5, maybe 10 years, no, probably like 10 years ago now. I saw her at a friend's house, um, and we had a chance to talk, and she came to me and was like, I want to apologize for how I reacted. I know I can't make up for it now, but you were my best friend, and I'm really sorry that I couldn't handle what you told me. I was very Catholic home, very, sheltered, and I was just horrified at this idea. It wasn't that I was horrified at you or grossed out by you or anything. It was just, I just did not know how to handle this information. And so the only thing I could think to do was just to not deal with it and to not confront it. And so, yeah. So eventually we talked about it and she apologized. And I appreciate her apology and everything like that. But it, certainly doesn't change the pain and the trauma that I experienced from it. Yeah, I was very ahead of the curve, was the problem. The problem was that I was 12 because everybody has gone to go do other things and discover other things about themselves. It was only weird because it was all happening to me so early. I was going into witchcraft and discovering my bisexuality at 12 years old, and most kids, like my classmates, just were not even thinking about these things, questioning their religion and their sexuality. Like they were not doing that. So it was just, I was just a little early. Yeah. Yeah. So we have those, queer traumas is what I call it. Yeah. Yeah. It is nice that she apologized, I guess. um, but then that wasn't the last thing. Like throughout my high school and college years, stuff like that kept happening. I happen to be attracted to very feminine girls and women. Well, women now, girls then. I happen to be attracted to very feminine girls and now feminine women. Um, and so, unfortunately, that means a lot of times I am attracted to women who are straight. And that just kept fucking happening, kept happening. And then in college, it got worse because in college, I learned the hard way that straight girls like to get drunk and make out with their girlfriends in order to get the attention of boys that they like. But if you are a little queer girl and your cute girlfriend starts making out with you at a party, you think she likes you. And then you wake up and find out the hard way that she actually thinks it's totally gross, but is a complete pick-me-sha and is willing to do anything to get some boy to like her, including totally um, deceive you. So that happened one too many times. And by the time I was done with college, I was just like, fuck it. I give up. I tried so hard. I was the president of the Gay Straight Alliance in my high school. I worked for the Human Rights Campaign in college, which is the nation's largest gay and lesbian civil rights organization. Like, I did everything I could to put myself in gay spaces and find girls that I was actually attracted to that were gay. Met plenty of girls that were gay, just not that I was actually attracted to. So I kind of just gave up, and then I met my, would be husband, and men made it a lot easier liking guys. Not easy, they come with their own bag of crap, but it was just, you know, a lot easier. So I have a lot of queer trauma because in my lifetime, I've never been able to express myself to a woman that I am attracted to and have that work out for me. And the women that have been attracted to me, I have not been attracted to them. And so then I have to be the source of trauma for them, which is a shitty feeling too. So, yeah, lots of queer trauma. But I'm not alone. And I'm so grateful that I have met so many witches um, in the last few years that get me. And I've had similar experiences, and we've been able to talk about it. And now I can talk about those things and not like bawl my eyes out. So, yeah, I'm so grateful for the friends that I've made. But anyway, yeah, that's why I made that statement about like, nobody tell Tasha that I think she's pretty, because I don't think that she's gay. And she has said some things about trans people that makes me concerned that she might really be uncomfortable about it. So we're going to keep that over here on YouTube. If you find her on Instagram, don't tell her what I said. Don't tell her. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Every fucking time. Either diss her or play her out or whatever. Every time. Some absolute piece of crap loser. But yeah. Yeah. Literally. On more than one occasion. I'm like hitting them up the next day, like, hey, so last night was fun. Like, we should do it again. And have them literally be like, ew, I was drunk. Please. And be like, oh, yeah, me too, girl. What? Gay shit? Gross. Sucks. Sucks so much. So, yeah, that shit was hard. But like I said, not alone. Many of the shop witches have similar stories, and actually going to Pride together this year was huge for all of us. Some of us had never been, and we're afraid to go. Some of us, you know, like had dealt with backlash from our families for wanting to go, or criticism from boyfriends or whatever. I was really grateful and honored that could. I've been to Pride like every freaking year since I was old enough to go. Because, like I said, working for HRC, being the head of the gay, like I was going to put myself in gay places. I was not giving up. I was like, I am going to find me a chick somehow. So I was always looking for whatever gay shit was going on. So Pride, as soon as I was old enough, absolutely, I was there every year. I've never missed a year. Maybe like one, but not really. Um, and it was really cool to be able to introduce them to it because it's such a moment. And there's where Pride is in New York City. It's like down in like the Chelsea area, which is like the west side of Manhattan, lower west side of Manhattan. And there's a pier called the Christopher Street Pier, which is like where all the POC gay kids hang out. And during Pride, it's packed with all the POC gay kids. It's always POC gay kids like any night of the week. If you go down there, like all of the like white men and all the middle aged people, they're in the West Village because they're old enough to go to the bars, and they're old enough to do all of that stuff. So that's the vibe there. It's very like Sex in the City type gay. In Chelsea, but if you go down the Christopher Street Pier, that's where all of the young black and brown trans kids are. That's where I first saw my first um, assigned male at birth person in a skirt. It's the first time I saw like a guy, basically like full beard, makeup, mini skirt. He was pumping down the street in that mini skirt, honey. Black guy, like just like, and I was like, I was probably like 16, 17 when I saw that. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, that's where all of the cool, young, black and brown queers hang out. So like that's our strip. Like that's our little spot. So Pride, you can imagine it's packed to the walls. And there's like people are voguing and like it's just so dope, so cool. So I took them there. I was like, we're not gonna hang out like where the parade is. Sorry, it's rather middle aged and Caucasian there, which is like no offense. It's just like not really like the vibe I'm looking for. So I'm gonna take you to where all the trans kids and the gays, the queers are. Like we're gonna go over there. Um, and it was great. It was so cool to take them. It was like being the auntie and taking them and watching all of their faces be like, just seeing everybody titties out and fairy wings and just like so much freedom is what it was, freedom. And I could see them being like they were emotional. Nobody cried, but people were like, I cannot believe this. Like this is the most free shit I've ever seen in my life. And it was such good vibes. No fights, no like there have been years where there have been like some fights, you know what I'm saying? Because some queen stepped on somebody's shoe or whatever. But it was none of that. At least not while we were there. It was just all love and random people. Somebody's dog like came over to our area and we started conversation with them and like just really great vibes. And I could tell how healing it was for them to be in a space where everybody was really just free, just being themselves. It was such a sense. That's the only way I can describe it. It's just like the air was literally thick with freedom. Um, it was super cool. Super, super cool. I felt really great that I could share that with them, especially knowing that they too had not so great stories about coming out or just embracing, not being straight. So, your mom and her wife used to chill down there? Yes. Yes. Oh, very true. Very true. I'm sure many of those girls, that happened to me with probably had, feelings that they couldn't really genuinely express or whatever, but I ain't your fucking therapist. You just really hurt my feelings. Like, I thought you liked me, asshole. So that was hard. But I'm healing from that. And I'm looking forward to my chat with Tasha tomorrow, though I don't think of her that way. I just do recognize that she's attractive. Um, she's got a whole husband and stuff. But it's cool that we're gonna chat. And then the other thing that had me thinking about like, wow, I have witchy friends now is I want to do a TikTok. I don't really do TikTok, but the shop has a TikTok. And you guys know my fellow head witch Alexis. Um, and she's like me. She's the same age or like 1 year older. So she's like 39 or something. And or 38, I think. Yeah. I'm 37, she's 38. Yeah. So she also has queer trauma. So we've bonded over that. But she also, like me, is kind of like, what the fuck is this TikTok shit? And she's like trying to figure it out. She actually has a TikTok page and she's trying to figure it out. I think she just got to 1,000 followers finally, so she can go live over there. She's very happy about that. But I had an idea about a TikTok that I think would be funny for us to do in the shop. So I messaged her and I was like, I have a genius idea for a TikTok. Bring your witchy hat to the shop this week. I'll explain on Wednesday. And I just got a kick out of that because I was like, damn, 12-year-old Allie was so lonely. There were no witches. It was just me. My friends didn't really get it. My sister didn't get it. My classmates, not even people in my school. I was really by myself looking up witchy shops in the yellow pages and getting on the train after school, lying to my mom that I had after school, and sneaking down to the West Village to try to find witchy shops that maybe or maybe not still existed by myself because I just, had to try to find the things I wanted, you know. And now, not only am I not alone, but I have this beautiful community of other witches that I can text in the middle of the night to be like, let's do a TikTok, that I can get on the phone with and have Kiki in the afternoon. Tasha and I have plans to drink. She's going to have a gin and tonic. I'm going to have some wine and we're going to catch up. We're probably going to be on the phone for a fucking long ass time. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I don't even like being on the phone. I just like that there's a witch that I know who I'm friends with, who I can get on the phone with like every few months and like just talk about our lives. And like, you know, can understand me when I'm like, yeah, he's a Pisces. And she's like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like all that witch shit is great. So I'm grateful, but I'm also really proud of myself because not only do I have a community of witches now around me, I created the fucking community. That's where the pride comes in. I'm grateful that I have a community, but I'm proud of myself because I made it. I couldn't find witches like me. I couldn't find people to connect with. I couldn't find friends that could relate to the things that I was seeing, doing, experiencing, wanting to see, do, experience. And so I created it. And what was a vision in my mind at 12 years old, now at 37, is a very real, living, growing reality. And yeah, I'm giving myself credit for that. Because sometimes I avoid that and I'll talk about things like, no, we've done this. This is what we've done. And it's like, no, girl, you did that. You did that. Smokey, are you in the Coven community? Where are you located? Because in the Coven community, there are witches from everywhere. So that is a good space to start. And I was talking about this in my webinar. If you guys haven't taken the free class that I have, 10 Steps to Becoming a Better Witch, I encourage you to do so because in it, step number 10 is about finding community. And I talk about tips. I talk about things to keep in mind when you're going to new places for the first time, festivals, pagan fairs, even online groups, some red flags or things to keep in mind. And the Coven community is a good place to start because you can at least be like, hey, like, do you want to go with me somewhere? Does anybody and live in this area? You want to go with me to this thing or what have you? And that's a community of people that is like less strangers. Obviously, a lot of us haven't met each other and we only know each other online, but it's still like not complete strangers. Yes, with my little hands. I sure did. Yes, 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 yes. Listen, let me drop my code because you can get your whole first month for free. All right. There's a 7-day trial that automatically comes with it when you sign up. But if you use my code, hold on, I'm trying to type with one hand. You get the whole first month's free. So get up in there, shout out yourself, say what's up, see if there's some other witches in Colorado. And then if it's not for you, just cancel before the 30 days is up. It's only $9.99 a month, but still, just cancel. I will not be offended. I don't think you're going to want to cancel because it is pretty fun in there, but just try it. Let me put this on the screen. That's the code. So if you go to bronxwitch.com/online or in the description of this video should be a link to join the coven. Use this code and you'll get 30 days free instead of 7 days free. You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate you. I do love that webinar. I have to be honest. It used to be 3 hours long. The first time I gave it, I had to make it a lot more streamlined because your girl can ramble, as you can tell. So I had to cut that down, but I'm really proud of it because it truly is the 10 steps that I feel have been the most transformative in my 25-year journey. And I'm really proud of the fact that I can take those 25 years and give it to you in a package that you could execute in 6 months. Yeah. I said in the webinar, I was like, man, I really wish I had somebody like me around when I was 12 years old. And I wish there was a 10-step program when I was there. But if there had been, then I wouldn't have created this. So it all happens for a reason. And I'm just grateful that now I can be that thing that I wish I had for the next witch. So you're welcome, my dear. You're welcome. Ally Live, if you missed it. But so who was, and you watched the first one too? The 3-hour long one? Oh my gosh, God bless you. You hung around for the 3-hour version and then came back for more? May you be blessed many times over. Because I told everybody, like, oh, come back. Like, if you did take this before, take it again, because I did make a lot of changes and da-da-da-da-da. But I didn't really expect people to do that. Because I expected people to be like, girl, you talked for 3 hours last time. It was so long I had to give everybody a break. We had like an intermission halfway through. Yeah. I'm glad that you stuck around for both. I appreciate you. I hope you consider taking the Magic Intensive. If you found that information valuable, I would love for you to actually execute it, which I guess is not necessary to join the intensive if you feel like you can really execute those things on your own. But the feedback that I've been getting from this first graduating class of the Better Witches is just makes me feel really good because at least according to them, the intensive is like everything that they have been looking for and like very different from any other courses that they have taken before. So it is a whole experience. It's a whole vibe. If you're not able to join for the spring semester, though, there will be a fall semester. I have begun calling it Hogwarts in the Hood, except not officially because I don't want J.K. Rowling to sue me, so don't nobody say that. But it's kind of turning into that because I realize I can do it in semesters, you know? So the spring semester starts February 14th. Last day of registration, by the way, is the 7th in 2 days. So if you are interested, there is a link in the description. Click on it and it will give you all the information. Definitely take the free class because that will also give you a good idea of what to expect. Hi, mommy. But if for some reason you can't join the spring semester, fall semester will be good. You're enrolled? Wait, hold on. You enrolled in the Magic Intensive? I thought I saw who am I talking to? Did you enroll just now? Because that'd be dope. If you did, you just like good job because enrollment ends on technically tomorrow. It's now Monday. JK Rowling, how do you feel about that, kitty? JK Rowling can go eat kitty litter. Yes, still no cannabis. I think that's going to be the case at least for 2024. I learned a lot about what cannabis can do for me and also what it cannot. And there is a certain level of not only mental clarity, but also outward extroversion that I need to body this year. So that's why I'm drinking the Magic Minds. That's why I got my big ass calendar. Did you guys see this? Let me show you this. Because I am bodying this year. This is my millionaire year. Oh my gosh, it's Heather. Heather, I didn't know this was your YouTube name. Okay, yes. Hello, duh. Yes, you're like, were you the first person to enroll? You might be the first. You were like the first person to enroll. Yes. Okay. I didn't even know that's who I was talking to this whole time. Oh my gosh. You gotta, next time I see you, you gotta tell me the meaning behind your YouTube name. Hi, Aluran. Welcome. Okay, let me see. Can y'all see? Oh, okay. We have all these lights. Can y'all see that? Wait. No. Mm, can you see that on the wall? Oh, there. Okay. See that? That is the big ass calendar. This very interesting design of a calendar that this like I don't know, it's like rich white dude made up. Jesse Itzler or something like that. Oh hey, how are you? Oh, Valentonia? Oh, what's up? Your Val's dude? Welcome. Oh my gosh, when she's awake, tell her I say hi. I was just thinking about her the other day. Tell her I say hi. We miss her. She should come up in the coven. Um, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. I'm glad you're here. But yeah, 2024, I am bodying this year. Okay. It is, I'm all about it this year. I'm making it happen. And cannabis is helpful for me to find deep rest and solitude, which I do absolutely need to give myself from time to time, especially if I get to the point that I was at 2000, the end of 2023, when I was so um, so burnt out. But I feel really motivated to not let myself get to that place anymore. And I also I just, a big shift has happened for me energetically, for the shop energetically, getting my divorce, having my space to myself. So my home energy has shifted. So much has shifted. I just don't see myself getting to that point ever again. But if I do, I know that I can find deep rest and the solitude I need to recover with cannabis. But if that's not something that I need, then I'm not really benefiting from the cannabis. So, yeah, right. Leaving. Don't drink my tea. The other night, I'm so glad I woke up and caught this. Like, I have a cup, a copper cup. Maybe you can see, like back there, I have a copper cup that I keep by my bed with water. And I'm sleeping and I hear something like splashing. I look over. This bitch is drinking my water. And if I had not woken up and saw that, I would have woke up in the morning and like chugged it like I usually do. I was like, hey. And she's like, I was like, yo. And then I was like, damn, how many times has that happened and I didn't catch her? Mm. Like, I love Kitty, but she also licks her butthole daily. Okay. And I was like, oh, seriously, bro? Do you be doing that all the time? I hope not all the time. So, oh, yes, Tammy. Thank you. Yo, YouTube names are so different from our regular names. I really sometimes don't be knowing that I'm talking to you guys. So, thank you for reminding me because I definitely sometimes am like completely lost. I'd be thinking I'm talking to completely different people. And then I'm like, oh, I used to think I was a dog person until I got a cat. And now I'm like, how did I ever think I was a dog person? You mean to tell me I have to leave the house multiple times a day to care for you? Absolutely not. I need an animal who I can leave in the house for days and not have to worry about. I could die in here. Kitty would be fine. She would just eat my body until someone figured it out. Like, I literally, they're not no maintenance, but they're pretty low maintenance. That's so funny. The witch that I had a coaching session last night with one of our community members, and she also connects to Bastet, which is somebody I hadn't thought about in a while. But I have this really cute cistern. The cistern is that like jingly instrument that's like sacred to Bastet. I have a cute little cistern piece of jewelry. It's like real silver too. I should wear it more often. We thought she was a yeah, that happens. Technically, we don't know how old Kitty is because we got her from the shelter and they estimated she was about 5 months. We got her in October, so we just say she's an Aries. She has big Aries energy though. She's kind of a bitch. So she's not really into the emotional stuff, not real fuzzy, but does like to sleep. Yeah, are you gonna bring your cat to a cafe? That's cool. I definitely wish that Kitty would do stuff like that, but she is not about it. Every time we put her in her carrier, she screams for bloody murder and sometimes stress peas, which is really sad. So she would definitely not be going outside. Yeah, 2007. Wow. When did I start my YouTube? Well, it would not have been anything with videos on it and stuff. It would have been like my original old email YouTube. How would she handle a harness and leash? Terribly. Terribly. If you throw a sock on her. Like sometimes we'll like throw clothes on her, like a sock or something. She immediately just lays down and just rolls around until she can get it off of her. And she's like, oh, terribly. We've tried to do like outfits for Halloween, like little, just a little thing to go around, little wings or a little thing, and she just freezes and she's just like, and you're like, oh fuck it, take it off. Yeah, she's not about that life at all. Oh, so which is funny. Okay, let me it's getting late, so I'm gonna update you guys on my graveyard trip. Who was here during my last surprise live when I opened up those magical goodies from Brother Moses, the consecrated mercury dimes and the prayer cards that had some spirits moving around in here? Were y'all here for that? Who was here for that? You were there for that, Smokey? Okay. Oh, so I went to the graveyard. You guys want to hear the story of this? So I was planning on going with June, but they were not available the day I wanted to go. And something told me that I really needed to go this past week, Wednesday. Wednesday relates to Mercury. I had these Mercury dimes. Yeah, that noise was crazy, right? Yeah, definitely had to get that shit out of the room. Um, but it all made perfect sense when I actually got to the graveyard. So I wanted to take June with me, but they weren't available. And, I have these Mercury dimes. Wednesday is connected to the planet Mercury. I had a really busy week otherwise, coaching sessions in the evenings. And I just was like, it's got to be this day. Alexis was in the shop. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. I know Tammy was there. Alexis was in the shop, so I knew I had coverage, so I had to make it happen. So I was like, I'm gonna make it happen. I have like meetings in the morning, but if I can knock out these meetings and help Alexis with what I need to in the shop, and if I can get out of the shop by like 2 o'clock, I can make it because they close at 4:30. And yeah, okay, yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna try to do this. But when I went online to do a little preliminary research, the cemetery is like one of the nicer ones. And it tells you right on the website, like, this is a secured, well patrolled cemetery. You need to book a tour. You're supposed to sign some paperwork to take pictures and stuff. Now, looking back on it, I think that information is more for people that want to like film things and stuff. But the way they make it sounds like just if you want to go there, you need to like set up a tour and like get clearance to take pictures and things like that. So I was like, damn, am I even going to be able to like do this? Not to mention the damn thing is, did she say 400 acres, I think? At least 200 acres, but I think she said 400 acres. I don't know what an acre is. Mad big. um, with thousands of graves. So I was like, I'm going to have to call ahead of time because I don't know if I can even go up in there. And then if I do get up in there, how am I going to find it? Like, I'm going to have to call ahead. But what am I going to say? I can't say, hi, my name's Allie. I'm a witch looking for this random grave. So I thought I had to lie. So I call, speak with a very nice woman named Doris. And I'm like, yeah, my family found some documents that, like, we think show that our relative is in your cemetery. So I give her the name and she looks it up and she's like, oh my goodness, sure enough, he's here. And I was like, what? I knew he was there. But I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, we can give you a map. Because the thing was this, I didn't want them to escort me to the gravesite because I needed to do some stuff by myself. So I didn't want them to be like, oh, we'll take you. I was like, okay. Like, she's like, oh, just come to the office and we'll have security just drive you right over to it. And I was like, oh, well, I don't mind finding it myself. If you could just tell me where it is, trying to not make it obvious that I want to be by myself. And she's like, oh, yeah, well, we can print out like a little map for you to make it easier. And I was like, okay, no problem. That sounds great. She's like, okay, well, when you get to the office, just call us and we'll send the map to you. No problem. So I get in a cab, I go there, and I'm at a different entrance than where she is located. There's two entrances and two offices, and I ended up at the other one. Um, an acre is about 400 square feet, but don't trust me. Algebra. Girl, I know what a square foot is. No, that's a lie. I do know what a square foot is. But I'm not good at like projecting things. So like, you know how some people can be like, oh, that's about a yard away. I'd be like, I don't know how far away that. Anyway, so I get to the other office and I go in, and at first the woman who greets me is like, who are you? And I don't know if it was because I was black or if it's because of the neighborhood or what, but I didn't like how she reacted to me. But anyway, um, I was like, oh, hey, I was on the phone with Doris. She's supposed to be able to send over a map, blah, blah, blah. Would you be able to call her to get the map? Or I could call her, but she's going to bring it over here. And the woman who was in the office was like, oh, well, we'll just print you another map. Like, you don't have to get the one Doris was going to send over. Who are you looking for? And I was like, damn, I gotta fucking tell this lie again. And I was like, oh, I'm looking for so and so. And she goes, oh, Black Hermit? You're looking for Black Hermit? And I was like, oh, yeah, I think so. Then I was like, damn, if I knew that she knew who I was looking for and that he was a famous magician, I wouldn't have lied and said that I was a family member, because now I look crazy over here trying to pretend like I'm related to this famous dude. She's like, oh my God, you're related to Black Hermit? That's so amazing. We had a movie crew here some months ago shooting, or some years ago shooting a documentary, and wow, they would love to know that they. And I was like, if I knew that it was like a big deal and they knew about him and all that stuff, I would just be like, oh, I'm here doing research. This person. I wouldn't have spun the whole his long lost great niece from the other family side or whatever it was that I said. I was like, oh damn. The other lady, the one that looked at me weird when I first came in, as I'm fumbling through my lie, she's like, oh yeah, where's your family from? And I knew on the death certificate it said Kentucky. But I didn't do any damn research before I went. So I didn't know that he really was living in Harlem his whole life. And my family's from Charleston. And I'm over here like, yeah, my family in Charleston, da 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 da. And she's like, Charleston? Okay. And she's like looking, and I'm like, this bitch is on to me. And I'm like, I really need this other lady to hurry up and print this map so I can get the hell out of here, because this other lady is giving me the serious side eye. So she's like, the other lady's like wanting to talk about all the details. She's like, oh, his most famous illusion was being buried alive. Isn't that ironic? Like da 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 da. And she's like, I'm going to give you the email from the guy who made the movie. They were trying to start a fund to raise money for the gravesite and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, lady, come on, please. Just let me get out of here. But it all was for the best, because I needed to get all that information. So she gives me not only a map of the cemetery, but like a detailed map of all the plots, which, as it turns out, I really freaking needed, because his grave is unmarked. So not only is this place enormous, not only do they have thousands of graves, it's one of the few ones in this particular plot that is unmarked. I would have never found it. Never found it. So I was really grateful. So I get my little map and I'm walking and I'm trying to not get lost to make sure I'm following all the right roads. And on my way, I passed through, I didn't realize it at the time, but through the crossroads. I'm paying attention to the street signs, the road signs, trying to make sure I'm on the right one. I wasn't paying attention that I was in a perfect four-way crossroads. But what I did notice was the statue of this man. And when I tell you, staring at me like this, you know how some statues, they have the face and they have like no articulation of the eyes and they kind of just look like they're like peering off into nowhere? Mm-mm, not this one. This one is looking dead at you in a very, not a menacing way, in a very guarding way. Like, it is my job to watch this place. And I am watching you. And if you're all good, it's going to be all good. If you're not all good, it might not be all good. But it's just this look of like, I see you, like right there. And I was like, oh, hey, sir, just moseying on through. Okay. Again, did not know it was a crossroads yet. So I go past and I go to the right. I'm following the pathway. I get to the plot. There's some white people there that I don't really know. I guess they were there for like tourism purposes, which is sort of weird or whatever. I guess they had found the grave of Nellie Bly, who wrote the Around the World in 80 Days book. For some reason, they were very excited about this. But I get there and they're like, hey, who are you looking for? Which is a weird thing to say to somebody in the cemetery. Like, I might have been in the middle of a very emotional moment. Like, maybe I'm visiting like my recently deceased loved one. I'm not here like for fun, you know? But they're like, who are you looking for? And I was like, oh, just a family member. And so they're like chit chatting, and I'm like, can y'all get the hell out of here so I can do what I got to do? It's cold. I'm freezing. I did not wear enough clothes. I didn't even bring gloves, which is like, dude, your hands are going to be in cold soil. What are you thinking? But anyway, um, so they eventually leave. When I got to the plot where I first arrived, this is how spirit was moving me. Because I was busy talking to them and trying to figure out what was going on with them, I wasn't paying any attention to the map at all in my hand at that moment. And I walked right up to the grave, right up to it. I was going to count the rows and match it up with, and I did not need to do that at all. I went right straight to it. I looked down. There's a slab of cement that marks his grave. Not etched, no name, nothing, just a slab of cement to mark that it's there. And right on top of it are the offerings from some other witch. I don't know who, but sitting in a pile on the top of it were 2 cinnamon sticks and a handful of nuts, like in their shells. They looked like Brazil nuts, maybe, or almonds. I think they were maybe almonds, and a couple of cinnamon sticks. We are in the middle of a plot of land, well manicured, beautiful cemetery. Ain't no way in the world 2 pieces of cinnamon in a cross shape with a handful of nuts is just there. So somebody had been there just before me. And it had rained and stuff like that. So somebody had been there probably within the previous 24 hours. And I walked right up to it. I looked right down and I was like, second guessed myself. I was like, no way. I just immediately found it. But I was like, but why would like offerings? How many graves are going to have this? And then I was like, but I started second guessing myself and I started walking around looking just process of elimination. I wanted to be sure, like, let me just double check. But I should have trusted that spirit would lead me right to it. Because every time I've been to the graveyard or cemetery looking for somebody's grave, spirit has led me right to where I needed to go within minutes. I really don't get lost in cemeteries. Um, So I should have trusted that, but I didn't. And so I was like looking for it for a while. And I'm like, oh my gosh, don't tell me I came all the way out here and now I'm not going to find it. Like, come on, I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. I started to go past this tree, the one tree in the plot, and it was past the grave. I get to the tree line of where the tree was, and I hear, and I look over at the tree, and I can't see it, but I imagine it's some kind of bird. But the cemetery is dead quiet otherwise. It was dead quiet up until that point. I didn't hear that bird, no other birds, nothing. Just squirrels running around. I didn't even see any birds. And I was like, okay. I couldn't see the bird, but something in my soul said it's a crow. I don't know. But I was like, okay. I decided to try to pass the tree again and again. And I was like, okay, bet. You don't have to tell me a third time. Not this way. Got it. Stay over here. Turn around to walk back. I look down. I'm standing over that blank grave again. When I had gone to the office, thankfully, the woman at the office gave me the name of one of the graves that was next to his that did have a name on it. And I thought it was the grave right next to his. So when I looked the first time and I didn't see that name, I was like, okay, maybe this isn't it. But it was the grave, uh, like diagonal. It was in front of and next to his name. And that's where I was now, where the bird was knocking. And I looked down, and sure enough, Tyndale, Lindsay Tyndale, or whatever the other name was. I looked down. That's the name. I'm like, okay, yes, that was the one. The very first one I walked up to when I first got here with the weird witchy offerings on it. That is the one. So I was like, okay, great. Thank God. So I sit down and I'm like, those people had left at this point. I'm by myself. It's getting closer to closing. I don't see any trucks for the maintenance guys, nothing. I'm like, okay. Take out my little shovel, open up my little Ziploc bags, take the scoops that my hoodoo teacher needed, took a tiny little scoop for myself, replaced it with the mercury dimes, said my prayers, said my thank yous, did my things, covered up my hole, made it back nice and pretty. And I was like, okay, did that. I sat with him for a little while. Um, and then when I felt like it was the right time, I said, okay, step 2 is I got to find the crossroads. My hoodoo teacher asked me for 2 things: dirt from the graveyard site and dirt from a nearby crossroads. Yeah, I know. Amazing. Go to the cemetery, y'all. So I'm like, okay, next I have to find a crossroads. And I said to myself, and I said this out loud, I said, let me find out where that creepy statue was as the crossroads. I just knew it. I just knew it. I was like, bet money that statue is in a crossroads. I opened back up my map, looked to see where the statue is, and sure enough, a perfect 4-way crossroads. One of the roads leads directly to the plot where this man is buried. I said, you cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. I said, okay, we're going back to Mr. Creepy Man. So we walked down the road. Who's we? I walked down the road back to the statue that I passed on my way. He's looking dead at me. And I walked up to him and I said, I think I am supposed to ask permission of you to be here, right? You guard this crossroads. I get it. Oh, and by the way, he's facing the grave. Exactly. Through the crossroads, west of the crossroads, is the grave. So not only is he watching the crossroads, but he is facing the grave. I said, okay, you are the man to talk to. So I go closer to read the engravement on his statue. Why is this man a priest? Edward McGlynn, a doctor, philosopher, and priest ordained by the Roman Catholic Church in like the year 1900. So you gotta be kidding me. So I said hello to him. I asked for permission to take from the crossroads, explained to him why I was there. Something compelled me to stand in the middle of the crossroads and do a full 360 twice. I thought it was weird, not 3 times, because usually that's how things go for me, but I ain't gonna argue with no spirit. I turned around all the way twice. And then a lot of times when people use graveyard dirt, they will take the dirt either from directly in the center of the not graveyard dirt, crossroads dirt. They'll take the dirt from directly in the center of the crossroads, or they will take a little bit of dirt from all 4 corners. He instructed me to do neither. First of all, I couldn't take it from the center because it's paved roads, so that wasn't going to happen. But he told me to take it from the crossroads that was the corner that was in between him and the grave, the point of the crossroad that he is looking at. And right at that crossroads, all 3 of the other corners of the crossroad had a stone mausoleum, one of those stone houses, graveyards, those tombs, except for that corner. That corner just had some regular graves and one huge tree. And the only other huge tree was the one by Homeboy's grave where the bird was knocking. I said, okay. So I took the dirt just from that corner up underneath that tree. Got my dirt for my hoodoo teacher, got a little for me, left an offering, said thank you, and then proceeded out of the crossroads a different way than I had come in. That's good practice. If you're going to a crossroads, come in one way, go out another. Don't retrace your steps. So I'm going out a different way. As I'm going out that way, I look over, I realize there's a sign on the road that says one way and is pointing back the other way. Something about that felt significant, and I felt the need to pull my hood up and cover my head. And I feel like I went into almost like trance for a few minutes as I left that field of energy. I just felt like I needed to cover myself and just say, no one follow me. I'm going out like cloaked out of here. And then I didn't take my hood off again until I got back up to where the office was. As I'm getting up to where the office and the gate is, there's a white car that slows down and stops and rolls down the window. And I'm like, okay, who is this? And the guy goes, oh, I just closed up. And I was like, what? It was security. He had just closed and locked up the gate because it was now 4:30. If anything had gone any differently, if I had taken even 30 more seconds with what I was doing, I would have missed him and I would have been locked in the fucking cemetery. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Wow, that would have been crazy. What would I have done? He's like, oh, there's an emergency number over here you could call. I wouldn't have known that necessarily. I was like, oh, okay. Thank goodness. I go out. I'm freezing at this point, like freezing. I wear sneakers. It's like cold, snowy, hard ground. I am freezing, cold to the bone. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't get on the train. The train was right there, but I was just like, I can't do it. And be surrounded by all these people, I cannot. So I'm going to call a taxi again. This has become an expensive ass trip to the graveyard, but I was like, I got to do it. So I call my Uber. I'm waiting for a little bit. He pulls up. I get in. The Uber driver is a young Latin man, I think Dominican. of all the things that he would be playing on his radio, why is he playing praise and worship like Negro gospel music? I said, what in the hell? What? This is what homie is listening to? Some straight up Christian gospel music that like my mom would be listening to on the radio. I said, thank you, Black Herman. That was my sign that all was well and I had not disturbed anything. Because, I'm going to the cemetery for the first time for somebody else. Anytime, I have never taken dirt from a graveyard that was not a relative of mine, ever in my life. I've never taken anything. Not a flower, not a blade of grass, nothing. If anything, I come and I leave stuff. I have never taken anything that was not my own relatives, dirt, flowers, whatever. So I had some hesitation about doing this. You know what I mean? I was like, when I was sitting with him at the grave, that's what I was saying. I was saying, I really hope that you hear me and that you understand that I mean no harm. I'm not here to steal from you. I am here on behalf of another conjure man just like you who does the kind of thing that you did. And he is only asking for this in order to pay respect to you, honor you, no problems. I don't want no problems. You know what I'm saying? So when I got in that car and I heard that, that was like a confirmation that all was well. Got home, put my dirt on my altar where my crossroads spirits are, lit a candle that is still burning right now, placed that big mercury dime that Hoodoo Moses gifted me for doing this there. And managed to speak with June, who just by coincidence was crafting me a Crossroads cologne that Crossroads dirt is going to be put into. And that is what I'm going to now use anytime I go to a crossroads and need to identify myself, or to a cemetery and need to identify myself. Got in the shower because I was like, time to cleanse. Okay, lit some rosemary and some palo, opened up the windows, got my butt in the shower ASAP, washed all of that away from me, put my clothes in the laundry, wiped off the bottoms of my shoes with Florida water, just cleaned it all up, cleaned everything up, put everything away, and put the bags of dirt from my hoodoo teacher in a little baggie, and then shipped it out the very next day. And it was wild. Wild, wild, wild. Quite an afternoon. But I'm so grateful. So now I have the email address of the person who made the documentary that was trying to raise money for his gravesite. I tell this story in the Coven community, and one of our Coven members, Linda, is like, hey, I'm a genealogist. This is what I do. I help track down the history of people in graveyards that like don't have markings and stuff like that. Do you think he would like a proper headstone? Should we maybe do something about that as a coven? You bet. You bet. You bet. If you don't know the story of Black Herman, I don't know all the details. I've been doing more research since I came back from the cemetery. He was the most famous Black magician. He was like the Houdini for African Americans. He toured all over. One of his favorite and most popular tricks was being buried alive. He would get buried in a special graveyard that he had built. And 3 days later, he would have them uncover him and he would still somehow mysteriously be alive. Another one of his illusions that he liked to do was letting his audience members tie him up with rope and then having to get out of the rope. He was legendary. But he was also a full-time 100% hoodoo on the side who used to hang out with mambos and hoogans and voodoo practitioners up in Harlem during the Renaissance. I can only imagine how freaking cool that would have been, to be alive at that time and practicing magic at that time. But he was a whole hoodoo, but he also did illusions as like for a living. And when Linda asked that question, I was like, of course this man would like to have a marked grave. He was a whole showman. He was a whole superstar. He would not want to be buried underneath a blank slab of cement. So we gonna make that happen. Yes, we are. We're gonna make that happen. So as soon as my hoodoo teacher gets his dirt in the mail, and reaches out to confirm that all is in order, I am going to ask him if his spiritualist group, the Holy Mountain Spiritualist Temple in Colorado, would want to partner with the Coven community, the HQ Coven community, and contact this person that did the documentary and was trying to get a grave, see how much money they collected, see how far in the process they got, and whatever needs to be done to finish this project, we gonna get it done. We gonna get it done. And we are gonna make sure Black Herman has a proper headstone, because we are the witches of the Bronx. And here we have a powerful hoodoo, legendary magician, Black man right in our backyard that has nothing but a cement slab to show that he's there. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, sir. We're going to have to do something about that. We're going to have to do something about that. Graveyard headstone's not $1,000,000. I feel like if it's $1,500, even if it's $2,500, we can do that. We can do that. Between our community and Brother Moses' community in Colorado, we can do that. That is light work. So, yeah, we're going to make that happen. For sure. Yeah, I agree. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Maybe we'll have some type of ceremony when we get it done. Brother Moses was in New York visiting this past summer. He has a brother who lives here. So, I think he's actually like originally from here, maybe. But I know he can come to New York if he needs to. So, yeah, he needs to come out to New York, maybe bring some members of his coven, and we'll have a whole ceremony around it. Maybe it'll be a part of the staycation. Maybe it'll be a part of the staycation. Because we went to the graveyard on the first night of the staycation, but we went to Pelham Cemetery in City Island, which is a creepy cemetery because it's right across from Hart's Island, which is a Potter's Field. And if you don't know what that is basically a plot of land where they bury unclaimed bodies. So we have one of those off of the Bronx called Hart Island, where unclaimed bodies from the city's morgues get, I want to say buried, but the word that's more appropriate is dumped. Because there's no markers, they're layered, stacked up on top of each other. They're just disposed of. And during COVID, that's where a lot of the bodies got sent. And we had like a really bad storm a couple years ago, and the erosion, some of the bodies were popping up out of the ground. So sad. They just opened up tours to Hart Island, which you might think to yourself, like, why in the motherfucker would you take tours there? But there are families that have found out later that, maybe their family member was homeless, or they were a runaway, or maybe they died somewhere and didn't have ID on them. So nobody ever was able to contact family, and family didn't find out till much later through DNA, dental records, or whatever. Very sad stories. And that's right across from Pelham Cemetery, which is small and not nearly as well kept. So it's a very different feeling. But we went there, it was Halloween weekend. So that was kind of the point, to go creepy places. So we went there, it was creepy. Woodlawn, this other cemetery is not creepy. Beautiful. Beautiful and well maintained. There's a lot of famous people there, I think. And so that'll be a whole different energy. But it would be cool to go to the cemetery again. And it would be nice to go to a cemetery that everybody from this year's trip, from the 2023 trip, hasn't been to yet. So yeah, we could I don't know how long it takes to get it, right? 250 for 10 people. We can do it. We can do it. I know we can do it. I know we can do it. 100%. I know we can do it. For sure. If we got 20 people, we have 95 people in the coven, the virtual coven. If 20 people, gave $50, and then we got 20 people from Brother Moses's coven to give $50, we'd be good. We could get it done. And I don't know how long it takes to do those things, but hopefully if we could get like the fund going before the summertime, it would be done by the staycation, which happens at the end of October. Yeah. 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 Pretty much you don't end up on Hearts Island with a happy story. There's no happy stories that lead you there, sadly. So the energy was very different being in the cemetery, which is right across the water from it. So you can we were standing on the edge of the water in the cemetery looking at the potter's field. So, word. Yep. So, well, no, wait, no. 25 people, $10 would only be $250. If everybody did, if 20 people did $50, that would be $1,000. And then if his coven did the same, we'd have $2,000 total, which would be plenty of time to have like plenty of money to have like a good headstone, I think. So, Night Smoky. Yes, can't wait to see you in there. Hart Island was imposed. I didn't know that. I don't watch TV and stuff. I never know the pop culture references, but I do know Pose has been a great, groundbreaking show. Yeah. But yeah, that's the graveyard story, y'all. Crazy, amazing experience. So stay tuned for updates on the headstone and maybe some type of you're mathing, right, you're right. I was with you at first. I was like, yeah, and then I was like, wait a minute. No. If 25 people gave $100, we'd be there. But yeah, I think we'll get it done. So stay tuned for updates about that. Obviously, the coven will know all the details. So do consider joining and finding witches that are like you. It's a fun space. We have a book club. We have a Witches of Color support group that meets every month. That's where I do my high tea lives now. Alexis is dropping some exclusive videos on the universal law principles, starting with mentalism on Friday. Les has a grief mapping circle in there. So it's a cool space to be in. And if you use my code AllieLive instead of a free 7-day trial, you get a whole month. So the link to the coven is in the description for this video. You can also go to bronxwitch.com/online and get access to the portal where all of our virtual classes are and where you can find access to the coven community. So I feel like I heard about that movie, How to Survive a Plague, too. All right, witches, thanks for hanging out with me. This was fun. This is a beautiful way for me to end my week and go into my 2 days of rest. Thanks for hanging out so late. Appreciate y'all. I could never seem to go live for less than 2 hours. I don't know how that works. Kitty, you want to come say goodnight? Come say goodnight. Come say goodnight. Oh, I didn't even show you guys. Joining the coven is free. The coven is free for 7 days or for 30 days if you use my code. It is $9.99 a month after that. So yes, it is free to join. But after your trial, it is $9.99 a month. You guys check it out. I love lilies. And I have this thing that I've been doing since college where I kind of create like a bootleg flower press out of packaging tape for leaves and flowers that I like. But look at this rose lily. When it bloomed in my living room, I was like nearly knocked on my feet by how beautiful it is. Isn't that cool? I'm really hoping this works. I've never done this with such a large flower. I've done smaller flowers. Well, consider signing up for my newsletter, dear, because I dropped some road opener spells and also a little bit of a talk about the type of negative things we say to each other. As long as you keep telling yourself you can't join, you can't join. Think about changing your language because your words are spells, and the first person to hear them is you. So every time you say you can't do something, you are casting a spell on yourself and ensuring that you can't do it. Why don't you try changing your language and say, I will have everything I need for everything I want? Okay? I will have everything I need for everything I want. So if you want to join the coven, start saying that you will have everything you need for it. It may not be today, but every time you say you can't do something, you pretty much ensure that it's never going to happen. Instead, if there is something that you want, decide that you will have it and let the universe bring it to you in divine timing. So what I'm going to say for you is you will join the coven. There we go. If it's what you want, you will have everything you need for everything you want. And now start moving things in your life into alignment with that reality instead of into alignment with the I can't reality. And see how long it takes. And I'll see you in there. Yes, that's what I like using them for. But they also tell stories. This particular flower connects to one of my, actually to both of the spirit guides that I work with the most. But in particular, the spirit guide that I call on to do my tarot readings. So isn't that gorgeous? I'm really hoping this works. And it doesn't just turn brown and gross and it keeps its color. So I'll post about it in a couple weeks. We'll see how it's doing. All right, y'all. I will Catch you guys later. See you, witches. On the flip side, you know where to find me if you need me. Blessed be. Buenas noches.